Again, the low here, another low forming here, spinning in the moisture with the cold air in place. We've got some heavy snow in Cleveland, Ohio right now, and in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We've got a rain-sleet mixture in St. Louis that'll be changing over to snow shortly. We've got rain and freezing rain around Pittsburgh and southern Pennsylvania towards the Philly area, and then Baltimore and D.C. south, just plain old rain. To the north of that, we have some snow, and that snow will be once again developing across the New York City metro area a little bit later on today. There's the situation on the national radar showing the wet weather, and once again the wide variety of snow, ice, freezing rain, and plain old rain with strong thunderstorms in Georgia and across North Florida. We'll look at the travel headaches coming your way next.
Can France and Italy, Austria and England, Germany, Spain, and the Netherlands ever really agree on a single currency? Actually, they already have. Gold MasterCard. It's accepted at more cash machines around the world.
Excuse me, guys.
Than any other card. Gold MasterCard. It's more than a gold card. It's smart money.
So Janie was playing a molecule in the school play.
I am the molecule for water.
And I start coughing. Everyone's staring. I'm stuck. Fortunately, somebody handed me these cough drops. Robitussin. I didn't even know they made cough drops. Well, they worked on my cough right away. Soothed my throat. And I could feel those vapors.
Better?
And I'm glad Robitussin took the spotlight off me and put it where it belonged.
Robitussin cough drops. Cough drops from the cough experts.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
Biggest headaches right now, right on the upper Chesapeake Bay, southern Pennsylvania. That's where we got the sleet and the freezing rain mixed with some rain, very icy tracks right here. Pennsylvania Turnpike can be real treacherous, especially on bridges and overpasses, portions of I-95. Now, from Baltimore and D.C. south, plain old rain right now, but what's going to happen is you're going to get northeast winds and colder air, and that's going to change it over to some sleet and freezing rain later on today. We'll see the snows coming fast and furious, southern New England and the New York metro area later today. A real mess developing here. We check out a radar out of the region, and once again we show not much going on in New York right now, but in Philly you got the sleet and freezing rain. Baltimore and D.C. plain rain. It's ice in Pittsburgh. It is snow and heavy snow in the Cleveland metro area, so we've got a real meteorological goulash going on here, and we will see the rain changing to snow in the Ohio Valley and around St. Louis, expanding to the northeast, continuing tonight and on into Wednesday, and the snow will be heavy at times, coming down at a rate of several inches per hour. Now, to the south of that, we'll see rain and possibly some strong to severe thunderstorms over the Carolinas into South Georgia and North Florida, with this front racing on through in the very juicy air. Wind strong, swirling around that storm system from the plains to the Atlantic. High wind warning out for the mountains of North Carolina, so be careful out there this morning. Stay tuned. An update on this vicious winter storm set to blast New England next.
Presenting the ultimate tire for your sport utility vehicle, the Michelin LTX. Michelin's technological advances in sidewall and tread design give it a smoother, quieter ride than you might ever expect from a 4x4 tire. Yet it's rugged enough, tough enough, Michelin enough to get you through anything. The LTX series from Michelin.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you, because so much is riding on your tires.
Oh, dear.
What's wrong, Bertie?
We'll never have time to send out all these holiday greetings. Too bad you can't send one big card, Ronald.
Maybe we can. Come on. Happy holidays, everybody.
And now your local forecast. Accurate, convenient, and dependable. Only on the Weather Channel. coverage you won't find anywhere else. This is Weather Scope This Morning.
Mess on our hands this morning. First things first, in the Midwest and in the Plain States, you're suffering with the rain changing over to freezing rain, sleet, and snow. But in the Northeast, it looks like big-time headaches are headed in your direction. In particular, Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Harrisburg, and Pittsburgh. Let's take you to our scenario and start you off with some video from yesterday's action. We'll start you off in the Midwest, and the storm descended on Indiana yesterday. Icy roads were the result. Freezing rain continued into this morning into central Indiana, but now that freezing rain's changing over to heavy snow in the northern part of the state. In Wichita, well, another wintry war zone. Road crews were kept busy sanding as the frozen precipitation fell throughout the day. We've had about 3 to 4 inches already in Wichita. While in New Orleans along the Gulf Coast, we did see very heavy rains as severe storms erupted again in Texas and then churned their way eastward across the Gulf Coast. We're not expecting as much as we've seen in the way of severe weather today, but there will be some very strong storms over the southeast, in particular from coastal South Carolina to North Florida. Now let's talk about our storm and give you the scenario. The primary low pressure, it's moving its way into the Ohio Valley and Tennessee Valley here. This strong storm will be moving off to the east. And as the storm moves east, it will weaken, but then it will shift its energy to the coast, and then we will see a coastal storm redevelop. So the first low pressure, we'll see the wintry mix move through the Midwest. Then as the coastal storm takes over, we'll begin to see intense precipitation from northeast Pennsylvania and then upward into New England. Cold high pressure will ensure that the precipitation stays as snow from Harrisburg to Allentown to New York City and to Boston. And this snow will be very heavy indeed. In Boston, well, the snow will be increasing after 3 o'clock this afternoon. It could be a very hairy rush hour for tonight. While in New York City, it's just getting ready to snow right now. Should have heavy snow developing by afternoon, and then down the coast we'll be looking at a frozen concoction in Philly and around D.C. later on today. Already we've seen the snows piling up in the Plain States, and that snow is now spreading across the Midwest. Our storm history shows the snow accumulating now in Pennsylvania. We can see a swath of snow stretching all the way from Kansas into the northern parts of Pennsylvania, snowing already at the rate of 1 inch an hour around Williamsport. Where do we go from here? Well, we show you the rain snow line shifting down to St. Louis, to Indianapolis, to Columbus, and into Pittsburgh today. And notice from northeast Pennsylvania into New England, the snow will be really cranking up. It'll be coming down at the rate of 2 to 3 inches an hour. But then from here, what happens? Well, we have a blocking situation in the Atlantic. We have a big low out here in the northern Atlantic. That's pumping in the cold air with high pressure in Canada. So as our storm develops off the east coast, it has nowhere to go. It'll be slowing down as that low develops off the Virginia coast and moves to the east of New England. So it is going to be turning very windy and very snowy. Let's talk now about our satellite picture and show you what we have for you right now. You can easily see the big swirl as we go to that satellite and radar and show you the scene here. There's the low spinning about in the mid-Mississippi Valley. To the north of it, a large shield of clouds, while off to the east you can see another area of thick clouds. That's with the heavier rain and the thunderstorms. The radar shows you the precipitation just getting into New York City right now. It's getting ready to snow. It's certainly cold enough for snow. That cold, dry air is pumping in from the north. There you can see the precipitation band stretching westward all the way over to Missouri, where we're getting some pretty heavy snows now, just to the west of St. Louis and down into the Lake of the Ozarks. And even in Tulsa, Oklahoma, we've seen the rain change over to snow. Notice in the south, that heavy rain area moving steadily across Georgia towards the Carolinas and North Florida. As we close into a couple of areas in particular, we'll take you right into Boston. Nothing doing here, but down to the southwest, you can see it's trying to get ready to snow there. The air is very dry. Snow should not start in Boston until mid-afternoon, and then for the evening rush hour, we could have 1 to 3 inches of snow. So if you can get out of work early today, we certainly do advise that. Meanwhile, in New York City, well, it's just getting ready to snow for you right now. And as we can zip along to our radar, I'm going to try and get us into that radar, but I think I have a little malfunction on the computer there. There it goes. It's just moving real slow. But there you can see the snow just getting into the Big Apple right now. Snowing pretty hard around Allentown and up towards Scranton. And as you get down to Philly, it's freezing rain and sleet. But in the northern suburbs, it is snow. So it is going to get real hairy here in Philadelphia. Meanwhile, New York City, we are looking for 1 to 3 inches of snow before noon. Could be snowing at the rate of 2 to 3 inches an hour this afternoon. So if you do have to go into work today, you want to get out by the lunchtime hour. As we travel our way southward into D.C., well, it looks like rain this morning changing over to freezing rain this afternoon. Off to the west in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we are looking at freezing rain and sleet right now, but that's changing over to snow. Rain snow line has been up around I-80, but that'll be descending southward as the day wears on. Some pretty heavy snows in Cleveland. There'll be about 3 or 4 inches there. Columbus, rain right now. That'll be changing over to freezing rain this morning, and then probably over to snow by later on this afternoon. So it's going to be a piling up there around the capital city with about 3 to 6 inches of snow coming in late this afternoon and early this evening. And off to the west, we have icing. That's a real big problem across central Indiana. Indianapolis down to St. Louis. It's going to be an icy roadway down I-70 there. But in St. Louis, precipitation just now changing over to sleet and snow. We should get about 3 to 4 inches. We should be all snow by mid-morning in St. Louis. So it's a real mess in the Midwest today. And in the Northeast, it's just starting to crank up. Could be looking at 1 to 2 feet of snow from northeast Pennsylvania into New England. And after that, it could get even worse as the winds crank in. So this is a huge storm, and this could be the worst one of the year in the Northeast. If you're dreaming of a white Christmas, looks like your dreams will be coming true in the Big Apple. You haven't had a white Christmas since 1983. Now let's talk about your forecast, and here's Vivian.
This morning's weather is sponsored by 100% Colombian coffee, the richest coffee in the world.
Well, thank you, Mark. In our forecast center, I tell you what, that major storm system will bring some very, very heavy snows over the Northeast with winter storm warnings, but we also have severe thunderstorm warnings over parts of the Southeast. Now, it is that very same system that's producing the severe weather over the South and the winter-like weather over the Northeast. Let's take a look at the severe weather outlook for you, and we'll zoom to the Southeast now. Southern Georgia, northern Florida. We've had some thunderstorms this morning, very intense lightning developing with some of these storms over the Panhandle of Florida. They have been quite dangerous so far, so we do want you to be very, very careful out and about this morning on Interstate 10 right across the Panhandle. Again, lightning, hail, very gusty winds, and torrential downpours associated with these storms. So a very, very rough start to this Tuesday over the Southeast, let alone the Northeast, where we have the potential for some very, very heavy snows. Here's your main area of low pressure and the energy with it. Now, we'll continue to move off to the Northeast. Now, what's going to happen is we think an area of low pressure will develop off the mid-Atlantic coast, and we'll kind of get the transfer of energy from this area of low pressure to the one off the New England coast, and that's what's going to create enough moisture and cold air for the very, very heavy snows. New York City, even over the Susquehanna River Valley, we wake up to freezing rain right now in Philadelphia, but that will change over. Heavy snows in the forecast. We have winter storm warnings for the Susquehanna River Valley, as well as the western Catskills, most of northern New Jersey. And keep in mind, the snows will be piling up in New York City, and even later tonight, the snows will be moving into Boston. You know, we'll keep you posted throughout the day.
Always look for this symbol to be sure you're buying 100% Colombian coffee.
The Travel Channel takes you to the most sophisticated places on Earth, as well as those that are quite charmingly savage. For an insider's view of the world's most adventurous destinations, tune into the Travel Channel. It's the only place to get travel ideas on everything from day trips to dream vacations. To get the Travel Channel, call your cable operator today and take a vacation from being civilized. The Travel Channel, where to go and what to do.
If you don't have the Travel Channel 24 hours a day, call your cable operator.
And now your local forecast. Accurate, convenient, and dependable. Only on the Weather Channel.
Okay, here goes.
Yeah. It's changing color.
And you know what that means?
You were right.
We've got hard water.
If your soap won't lather well, and if your skin feels dry, you might have hard water. And then you need Zest. Soap leaves a drying film behind. But even in hard water, Zest rinses clean away for cleaner, smoother feeling skin.
You're not fully clean and smooth unless you're zestfully clean. See? Our skin wasn't prematurely dry. We've just been using the wrong bar.
It hit me a few hours ago. Achy joints, sore throat, fever, the flu. Went right home for a couple of Advil. Not Tylenol. It takes 2 regular strength Tylenol to do the job of 1 Advil. No pain reliever gets me through the flu better than Advil.
Looking at the skiing conditions, we'll check on the Western Resort reports this hour, and this time next hour we'll detail the Northeast, who will get beneficial heavy snows from the storm system we're watching over the next 24 hours. Jackson Hole, Wyoming, you haven't seen any additional snow with a base of 7 to anywhere to 70 inches and 65% of the trails open. Groomed conditions reported at Sun Valley, Idaho. We have powder conditions at Keystone in Colorado. Now the forecast doesn't call for much in the way of snow for the Colorados over the next 24 hours in the ski resorts here. Now let's check on other ski resort reports near you.
Wall's quality outerwear is available at a retailer near you. Watch the 5-Day Planner 20 minutes after the hour, every hour, right here on the Weather Channel. The 5-Day Planner is sponsored in part by Kelly Services.
Sun, snow, rain, or fog. Know what to expect. Just 95 cents a minute. Dial 1-900-WEATHER and connect.
The main reason I came to Sussex County Community College is because I have a degree in electronics and that field is no longer viable. I couldn't find a decent job.
The faculty and staff, they're very helpful. Whenever you need help, they're there.
Last semester, I came back to college to start a new career. Both my daughters are grown now, and I thought it was time.
Well, it's the best thing I've done outside of having my 2 sons. Sussex County Community College. Make it a family affair.
Registration is now underway. Classes start January 2nd. Whether you're looking for your next automotive fantasy or your next family car, Franklin Sussex Motors has what you want. At Franklin Sussex Motors, you'll find an incredible selection of vehicles to meet all your needs, and all available at unbelievable prices. So stop in today and drive away with your next set of wheels. Franklin Sussex Chrysler Plymouth Dodge Jeep Eagle, Route 23, Sussex.
watching the Weather Channel for accurate forecasts at your convenience. Weather you can always turn to.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on the Weather Channel. You're in tune with the very latest. We're glad you tuned in, especially if you're tuning in from southern New England. A winter storm warning has been in effect, has been issued for all of southern New England and the adjacent New York State late tonight into Wednesday. You know, we anticipate anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of snow in Boston and Worcester and even around Hartford, Connecticut over the next 48 hours. So some big problems in the making as we watch an area of low pressure. Believe it or not, this is the storm system that will be responsible for the very, very heavy snows in southern New England. Actually, some of the energy from this area of low pressure is going to merge with another system that will develop off the mid-Atlantic coast. And we talk about a lot of moisture just feeding in, and a cold air will build over the good part of New England as we go through time. So be prepared. We're looking for some big changes.
237 on the ground, K-15.
All right, guys, we got a 34-minute turnaround on this one. Let's do it.
It can be 5 below zero or coming down in buckets. It doesn't matter. It doesn't buy you another second out here. From the minute that plane touches down to the minute it takes off, we're on.
Let's get a few more tugs on A-15.
The whole crew. And there's no time to waste. But time isn't everything. Getting the job done right is.
Okay, I'm locking up the line.
So everybody pulls their weight. Everyone knows the drill. And we realize passengers don't really see this.
Have a late bag on your way, Bob.
No problem, Jerry. I'll take care of it.
Heck, it's a rare moment when they see us at all. But not a second goes by that we're not looking out for them.
479er coming in 11 minutes early, Bob.
Hurricanes 95.
This is it. Winds 265.
Forecasting, tracking.
We now are #1 strike probability at 71%.
The intense preparation and the final assault.
The roof just blew up.
Witness the most active hurricane season in 62 years.
It's just gone.
Join the Weather Channel for a special Christmas presentation of Hurricanes 95, Season on Edge, Monday at 1 o'clock Eastern.
This segment of the 5-Day Business Planner is brought to you by Kelly Services, your employment source.
Oh, the next 5 days will be extremely interesting as we're watching this storm system that has already dumped off some pretty hefty amounts of snows over central Kansas into the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma. And as it continues to move off to the northeast, in its path, we talk about heavy snows, central Illinois, even central and northern Indiana, all the way to Cleveland. We've seen snow and freezing rain in many of these areas so far this morning. We even have some freezing rain back to St. Louis. It is freezing rain reported in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh right now, and to the south, generally rain, even from our nation's capital, with thunderstorms developing over southern Georgia. And notice how the clouds kind of blow up here over the panhandle. Now, the air is still very cold in southern New England and northern New England, so as the moisture kind of feeds into this region, we talk about some very heavy snows over the next 24 to 48 hours. Snows will be piling up anywhere from 2 feet of snow, believe it or not. So, yeah, it's a mega storm and lots of moisture associated with it. National radar shows a swath of freezing rain and snow from the central parts of Missouri right on through northern Ohio. I'd say north of my hand we talk about freezing rain and snow, but to the south, again, rain showers, even Columbia and South Carolina, some thunderstorms. But thunderstorms have been most compounded over the southern parts of Georgia and the panhandle here, Florida. Look at the line of thunderstorms that have moved through Tallahassee and heading for Jacksonville and Ocala, right along Interstate 10. Now, if you're getting out and about early this morning, roads will be very, very treacherous because we talk about blinding rains at times. We've had reports of lightning, too, with these thunderstorms, so that is very dangerous this morning. Please be careful. Our latest lightning strikes actually shows us lightning strikes as they build off to the east now, along with the line of storms. So please be careful. This is a very, very dangerous situation so far this morning. So we talk about about severe weather throughout the day, southern Georgia, northern Florida, well, along the Carolina coast. But as you head northward, the snows will be piling up, and there you see as much as 12 inches or more for central, southern New England on into northern New England. So this is our target area for some very, very heavy snows over the next 48 hours. But again, we'll have to follow this area of low pressure back across northern Mississippi right now, and it'll continue again to move off to the northeast. Actually, some of the energy with this system will be transferred over to this next area of low pressure that will start to develop off the mid-Atlantic coast by the midday hour. So as the two come together, you talk about ample upper level energy and a lot of instability at the surface. We have significant moisture here. The air is cold enough, and all of those ingredients coming together for a major winter storm over southern New England within the next 48 hours. Okay, there you have it. We'll keep you posted on the track of that storm system now. High pressure building over the plains and quieting down, and it'll be fairly quiet in comparison for the weather along the western seaboard. Afternoon highs today shaping up like this. Still some milder air with a severe thunderstorm potential over the southeast. But notice behind it we bring down the teens for morning lows tomorrow. Even as far south as the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma will be in the 30s over a good part of the deep south. Highs on Wednesday now will be a little cooler tomorrow behind that surface front all the way to the southeast near the Gulf coastal region. We don't have the yellow color anymore, and certainly not the orange, and those colors of course indicative of the warmer air. But the blues, they take over, and with the blues we talk about the colder scenario, so that on Friday we'll be below normal for just about everywhere across the country. Look at this, highs only in the 20s, Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh. And hey, on Saturday, we still have the chilly scenario of a good part of the east, even though we start to warm up a little bit in Texas. The first storm, again, heavy snows over New England expected over the next 48 hours. And then, believe it or not, we'll start to watch the southern branch of the jet stream becoming active. And with a colder air, we might have to deal with light snow and light freezing rain over parts of the southeast. We'll keep you posted.
What do you call a job that lets you experience a lot of work environments before you get to work? How about a good idea? Call 1-800-YES-KELLY for the one job that's anything but one job. Kelly Services, your employment source.
For more information about Kelly Services, call 1-800-YES-KELLY today.
You're up in the mountains, the wind's blowing cold. You're trusting a name over 50 years old. From the prairies to the mountains, where the eagle soars. You're working and playing, you're doing your chores. A style of your own, when you're looking for more. We're walls leading the way outdoors. We're walls leading the way outdoors.
Walls quality outerwear is available at a retailer near you.
This Traveler's Update is sponsored by Geico. One 15-minute call will save you 15% on more of your car insurance. Here's a look at the national radar, which shows pretty much all of the action now. We have ample moisture across the Ohio Valley into the southern New England area, and you can see stretching back across the Tennessee Valley and parts of the southeast. We have thunderstorm activity over the panhandle of Florida here and southern Georgia. We have freezing rain, and for some reason freezing rain, the flectivity is very good on radar. So right in here we talk about freezing rain, where you see the yellows and the darker greens, but right here where you see the yellows and the darker green, that indicates the thunderstorm activity. So it's very, very active so far this morning. Now, wintry travel will be widespread. We talk about snow and freezing rain over a good part of the Ohio Valley into Pennsylvania, New York City, and that same storm system has a potential to bring some severe weather over parts of the southeast.
A typical car insurance agent is on the job during regular business hours. On the other hand, Geico insurance professionals are on the job 24 hours a day. Geico, a 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Are you through, Daddy?
You can't do much in 15 minutes, but one 15-minute call to Geico could save you plenty on car insurance. Call us when you're free. Geico. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Maybe you helped and didn't know it, or were part of it and just forgot. If you joined the American Express Charge Against Hunger over the last 2 years, you made a difference. But the fight isn't over. Every time you use your American Express card, we'll give to Share Our Strength, a leading anti-hunger group. Because now through December 31st, the Charge Against Hunger is on again.
Working toward the weekend? Watch The Weekend Outlook to find out what the temperatures will be and if there's a chance of rain. Only on the Weather Channel. And now your local forecast. Accurate, convenient, and dependable. Only on the Weather Channel.
Tuesday morning, and thank you so much for joining us on the Weather Channel, the only channel on your cable dial with 24-hour weather information. Hey, we're your weather authority, here to give you the very latest. Winter storm warnings have been issued over parts of the Northeast, and at the same time, we have severe thunderstorm warnings. So a big mess developing primarily along the eastern seaboard. It's all because of one main system. Let's show it to you on the satellite picture. Actually, this is a water vapor loop, which is sensitive, that is, to the moisture available in the atmosphere. We talk about the ample moisture that's feeding in across parts of the southeast. We've had thunderstorm activity this morning over the panhandle of Florida and southern Georgia, and all of this moisture streaming northward. The air is very cold, so we talk about a big mess setting up within the next 24 to 48 hours. Southern New England, the Susquehanna River Valley, we have winter storm warnings in effect. Anywhere from 12 to 24 inches of snow will be piling up near Hartford, Connecticut, even near Worcester, Massachusetts, Boston. You have the potential for a foot of snow between now and Thursday morning. So major changes over the next 48 to 60 hours. Here's our area of low pressure at the moment. It will move off to the northeast and actually combine energy with another area of low pressure we're watching develop off the mid-Atlantic coast. It will develop by the midday hour, and the energy from the two will just be enough to provide the lift in the atmosphere that we need for some very, very heavy snows over southern New England. You can see how the dry air is pulling into much of Mississippi, Louisiana here, but then on the backside of that area of low pressure, we still have some moisture coming down. The air is colder here, though, and we've had widespread snow developing over the northern parts of Missouri Missouri. And even around St. Louis, we wake up to some freezing rain this morning. So just a big mess. Now, this is the infrared satellite picture, and we've kind of colored the tops here of the clouds, which are highest and coldest in the atmosphere, because the infrared satellite picture is sensitive to cold air. So we talk about the more vivid colors representative of the coldest and the highest clouds in the atmosphere, and many of these now responsible for the severe weather we've had so far this morning. Let's show you what it looks like on the national radar scan. There you see the thunderstorms now, southern Georgia, the panhandle of Florida. As revealed to the legend to the north here, you see the more vivid colors indicative of the heavier rain and the thunderstorm activity, but also now radar, the reflectivity of ice and freezing rain is fairly good too. So we talk about icy conditions and freezing rain right here near St. Louis and the central parts of Illinois, but this is thunderstorm activity, and we've had some very, very vivid lightning associated with these storms. As the whole line now moves off to the east, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Levy County, which is right about here. Actually, Levy County is right here, and look at that whole line. It is moving out to the east. Some of the individual cells are moving northeast, so as these cells move off to the northeast and the line itself moves out to the east, we talk about some big problems for Levy County within the next hour or so. So be on the lookout now. Very dangerous scenario, possible hail, torrential rains, winds in excess of 50 miles an hour can be associated with these storms as they move through. So it is a rough start to this Tuesday over northern Florida, southern Georgia. We have some embedded thunderstorms here in the central parts of South Carolina near Columbia here, and notice more thunderstorms draping from Charleston and right on across the state border into Raleigh and Durham, North Carolina. Atlanta, we have rain this morning. It'll be a rough start too if you're getting on 285, 75 this morning. Please allow extra driving time. You know how rough it can be with all the construction, getting ready for the Olympics and everything. Just allow extra time in the Atlanta metro area this morning. Now, a little farther north, we find the rains over the southern parts of Virginia now. Even rain showers been reported in our nation's capital. But points north, we talk about the freezing rain now. From Philadelphia to Pittsburgh, it is freezing rain. So I'd say everywhere to the north of my hand, we're talking about precipitation in the frozen form, either freezing rain. We've had reports of some snow, too, starting to build around Williamsport in north central Pennsylvania. But heavy, heavy snows will build right in this region over the Susquehanna River Valley. Again, a winter storm warning has been issued for the area, much of northern New Jersey. And the snows will be moving into New York City. We can easily find anywhere from 3 to 6 inches in downtown New York. So talk about a white Christmas, huh? In Cleveland, we have generally snow and even some freezing rain been reported across the central parts of Ohio here between Cleveland and Columbus. And there you see, back into the central parts of Illinois and near St. Louis, we have reports of freezing rain. We have snow generally to the north of this, snow of north of Indianapolis and through the central parts of Missouri. And that snow now drapes back into Springfield, Missouri, and even around Tulsa, Oklahoma. Oklahoma City, snow this morning. We have some light snow in Fort Smith in the northwestern parts of Arkansas. Now, this system has quite a history, as we've had some very heavy snows already. Back in central Kansas, as much as 3 to 6 inches have already fallen. So we talk about that area of low pressure piling up the snows, and as it continues to move off to the northeast, we'll just track even heavier snows, again, all the way to southern New England. So if you have travel plans today or within the next 48 hours, be wary, because you'll run into some slushy conditions, very treacherous driving conditions from New York State and Pennsylvania, even all the way back into central Oklahoma. Here's the culprit. So we talk about this storm system, a mega one, anything from severe weather across the southeast to the very, very heavy snows expected over southern New England. So let's get the details as we check on your forecast now. Here's your main area of low pressure down across northern Mississippi. We think that the energy from this system will transfer to the energy in this system off the mid-Atlantic. Now, the area of low pressure will develop off the mid-Atlantic by the midday hour, and the energy from both of them with ample moisture now coming in across the mid-Atlantic into New England, and the cold air that's in place, we're setting up the stage for some very, very heavy snows, sleet and freezing rain from central and southern Pennsylvania into central Ohio, but again across the northern parts of Pennsylvania into southern New England, very, very heavy snow. So the scenario for many of the big cities: Philadelphia, snow, sleet, freezing rain. Boston, now the snows will start to build in your area, Boston, by midday, and say between midday today and Thursday morning, you can easily get as much as 12 inches. New York City, heavy snows will be developing throughout the day, and even the nation's capital, we think it will primarily be rain, as we have reports of rain right now with temperatures above freezing. Okay, here's the current scenario. There's your area of low pressure. Again, moving to the northeast, spreading with it lots and lots of moisture. Severe weather over Georgia and Florida. We'll keep our eyes on the severe weather scenario, but of course we'll keep you posted on the heavy, heavy snows expected with the winter storm warnings over New England. So New York, get ready. Hey, I would advise maybe not going to work today, or either going in and getting off early, because the snows will really be piling up. Don't want you to get stranded at work. And the same for you, Boston, even though the snows will be coming in later today. And there you have the snowfall potential right in here, southern New England. Anywhere from 6 to 12 inches are possible. We hope you'll keep it tuned into the Weather Channel. You know we'll be here all day. We'll be giving you those snowfall tallies.
It's just the morning and you don't need to caffeinate it for two.
Wake up to Folgers Coffee Singles, made with ground roast decaffeinated coffee for one freshly brewed cup.
The best part of waking up
Is Singles in your cup.
I'm going to put something in front of you, Kathleen, okay? What do you smell?
I don't smell anything.
That's a bad cold you got there. I have a nasal spray I want to give you. Now what do you smell?
I smell orange.
Yeah.
This is wild. Tristan.
Tristan 12-hour nasal spray.
This stuff works.
And now your local forecast. Accurate, convenient, and dependable. Only on the Weather Channel.
Just use me when you need three hands, but you got only two, 'cause I'm the snake light. They call me the snake light.
It's the totally flexible hands-free flashlight from Black & Decker.
Yeah, we're the snake lights from Black & Decker. We get around, 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 round.
Even with the best products, something goes wrong once in a while. Now, while that might be okay at some companies, it's not at Motorola Cellular. Motorola sets their standards a lot higher.
And just how high are they?
Well, for me to hit that level of consistency, I'd have to go 30 years without missing a single putt.
Motorola. The more you need a cellular phone, the more you need Motorola.
Know what conditions to expect when you reach your destination. Watch the Business Travel Forecast, only on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to.
A quick look now at international weather as we check on different parts of the world. Now this hour we'll see what's going on in Europe as we detail the forecast for tomorrow. Fair skies expected over Bosnia for a change after we've seen so much inclement weather over in this area. But we'll find the inclement weather just about everywhere else with scattered showers over the British Isles and some very, very cold air, colder than what we've seen in quite some time over the eastern parts of Europe as afternoon highs are only forecast in the single digits and teens from western Russia over the Scandinavian country, even down to Copenhagen here, the Denmark Peninsula, northern Germany, very cold, highs only in the teens and 20s. Still a little milder though in Spain and France. It seems to always be warmest over the Mediterranean with highs in the 50s over southern Italy too. Now let's check on other individual cities in Europe and their forecasts for tomorrow.
Travel Channel takes you to the most exhilarating places on Earth, as well as a few that are marvelously unexciting. For an insider's view of the world's most intimate and affordable destinations, tune into the Travel Channel. It's the only place to get travel ideas on everything from day trips to dream vacations. To get the Travel Channel, call your cable operator today and take a vacation from the rest of the world. The Travel Channel, where to go and what to do.
If you don't have the Travel Channel 24 hours a day, call your cable operator.
Sun, snow, rain, or fog. Know what to expect. Just 95 cents a minute. Dial 1-900-WEATHER and connect.
No credit? Bad credit? Need a car? When the question is credit, the answer is Bell. Bell for your new Chrysler Plymouth, Dodge Truck, Jeep Eagle, Suzuki, or BMW. At Bell, we want to put you in the car you want to be in. Every credit application will be accepted. So remember, when the question is credit, the answer is Bell. Call 579-2600, 579-2600.
At Unky's Place in Byram, we've decked the halls with thousands of lights and ornaments, animated figures, Christmas bears, trains, and our spectacular Unky-sized Christmas tree. And every Friday and Saturday night, after feeding the reindeer, Santa stops in for the best steak in New Jersey. And to enter every child in his special drawing to win one of 4 cuddly bears or 50 goofy Santas. Santa sometimes stops in for dinner during the week. Just call for his schedule. Unky's Place in Byram, the only place for steak and the only place for dinner in a Christmas wonderland.
about to travel, watch the 5-Day Business Planner here on the Weather Channel at 20 minutes after every hour. You get a comprehensive national report that covers the forecast over the next 5 days. Watch the 5-Day Business Planner coming up soon on the Weather Channel.
This precipitation report is sponsored by Rain-X, the invisible windshield wiper for improved visibility and driving safety. Look at National Radar. That Rain-X will come in handy, and you know, it works pretty good. I've used some, and it really makes the water on the windshield, rain on the windshield kind of bead up, and it really works pretty good. But anyway, you'll need the Rain-X across the southeast because we have some very heavy, steady rains over northern Georgia, thunderstorms, the panhandle of Florida, southern Georgia, and it's changing over to freezing rain and snow to the north here. Most of Oklahoma, where you see the precipitation around Oklahoma City, Tulsa, light snow over the northern parts of Arkansas, and even across northern Ohio near Cleveland, it is snow. We've had some freezing rain in central Ohio too. So rainy travel, say from our nation's capital down to Florida, and keep in mind some thunderstorms are possible and very heavy rains expected. But you know what? We talk about the heavy snows piling up in here. This is not the forecast for rain. Actually, this is just precipitation forecast, which is liquid equivalent to the snow. And again, snows will be heavy. We're talking about perhaps a foot in Boston within the next couple of days. Stay with us. We'll have more details on the storm system next.
Good visibility is essential to driving safety, especially during wet and hazardous weather. Unless you can see where you're driving, you're an accident just waiting to happen. That's why you should be using Rain-X, the invisible windshield wiper. It disperses rain, sleet, and snow, mud, bugs, and grime on contact. Now that's performance. Clearly, Rain-X makes the difference between seeing and not seeing what's ahead. For safety's sake, go out and get your Rain-X today.
Look for Rain-X, the invisible windshield wiper, at all fine automotive departments near you.
Look what Daddy can juggle with his Nokia cellular phone. A rubber duck and a teddy bear. A Nokia cellular phone, a rubber duck, and a teddy bear. And with my Nokia cellular phone, I can juggle something even more amazing. My schedule.
One-touch dialing makes a Nokia cellular phone easy to use.
Hello?
Amazing.
Nokia mobile phones, title sponsor of the Nokia Sugar Bowl.
Nokia, connecting people.
Time now for our winter storm update. Let's check on some of the rainfall totals we've seen so far now. Primarily across the south, we've had 7 soaking, that's for sure. Lafayette, Louisiana, over 7.5 inches have fallen. The same in Mobile, Alabama. We've had very heavy rains around Baton Rouge, Louisiana, over 6 inches there. Even New Orleans with some 3 inches. Now the good news is that the heavy rains that fell yesterday for parts of Louisiana and Mississippi will be moving off to the east, so we'll be drying out over the lower Mississippi Valley. But more heavy rains are forecast in Georgia and Florida, perhaps not to the 7 inches that we saw back here in parts of Texas and Louisiana, but we will find as much as 1 inch, perhaps 2 inches in some areas. We've had a lot of very intense storms moving across the panhandle of Florida so far this morning, and with those storms, torrential rains are definitely a possibility. Now, snows will be piling up, say, from Philadelphia into southern New England, and I'm talking heavy, heavy amounts, as much as 6, 12, up to 15 inches, 16 inches in some cases. You can see the legend to the north now, 12 inches plus in the white shading. This is southern New England, the Susquehanna River Valley, northern New Jersey, New York City, Hartford, Connecticut, Worcester, Massachusetts, Boston, again, you can easily see a foot of snow with this storm. That's what we're thinking now as the energy from the area of low pressure over northern Mississippi, that's where it's located right now, but that system will continue to move off to the northeast and pull in some of the moisture from the Atlantic. The air is cold enough, and we're setting the stage. All the ingredients are coming together, and the timing will be perfect, we think, for some very, very heavy snows. Now, this system has already dumped off some pretty significant amounts mainly back into the plains over the last 24 hours. We've had 4 inches around Garden City, Kansas, Wichita the same, and Fort Wayne, Indiana about 4 inches. Cleveland, you've picked up about 3 inches. I have a report of a little bit of light snow right now in Cleveland, but these snowfall tallies are nothing in comparison to the potential for the heavy snows that we're expecting over southern New England. Again, easily 12 inches. There's your area of low pressure we're watching, the trailing cold front. Out ahead of it is where we've seen the severe weather this morning, southern Georgia, the panhandle of Florida. Low pressure will develop by the midday hour off the mid-Atlantic coast. So what we will begin to see for the most part is the energy from this area of low pressure combining with the energy from this area of low pressure, and we think that that combination of 2 systems and the energy from both of them will create just a mega storm system. So it's going to be fairly interesting over the next 12 to 24 hours to see how these systems come together, the cold air in place, ample moisture. The result, we're thinking right now, rains from the mid-Atlantic down into Georgia and changing over to freezing rain, sleet. That's what we've seen so far this morning. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, back into central Ohio, and very, very heavy snows to the north now. Williamsport, Pennsylvania, New York City, easily 3 to 6 inches. Worcester and central Massachusetts, Boston, anticipate heavy snows over the next 24 hours. So here's a look at some individual cities now. We think it'll be primarily rain in the nation's capital. Well, that's what we've seen so far this morning with temperatures above freezing. But Philly, snows will be moving in, mixing in with freezing rain. Boston, later this afternoon, the snows will begin, and we think that it's going to continue throughout much of tomorrow. And by Thursday morning, you're talking about easily, you'll see about 12 inches. And there you see New York City, heavy snows will be developing throughout the day. So here is our snowfall forecast. Lighter amounts back here, Ohio, central Illinois, Indiana, right through St. Louis. As the area of low pressure tracks south in this direction, it'll be mainly to the north of the area of low pressure that we'll find the heaviest snows back here across the upper Mississippi Valley. But once it gets out here now and combines energy with that next area of low pressure off the mid-Atlantic, we're talking about just pulling in even more moisture from the Atlantic, the air cold, and there you see the legend to the north. Let you see for yourself. 12 inches we're forecasting easily. Northeastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, Newark, Teterboro, even around Trenton, over to Hartford, Connecticut, Providence, Rhode Island, Boston, Martha's Vineyard. You might even see some snow. Chicopee Falls, southern New Hampshire, near Portsmouth, even southern Vermont. So very heavy snows expected over central and southern New England. Winter storm warnings have been issued. Well, stay with us. We'll give you the very latest on the developing storm system over the Northeast, and check on the highways and byways for you, too.
Last year, I flew 250,000 miles. Most people would find that exhausting, but it's different for me. I don't have business in New York or LA. The trip itself is my business. And whether it's business travelers or people who fly just once a year.
The captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt.
That flight is a big part of what makes a trip good or bad. And a good flight isn't the same for everybody. Some are looking to work. Some just want to relax. And some, they just want to get away. And knowing the difference, well, that comes with flying 250,000 miles and seeing 1,000 different faces.
Witness firsthand the most active hurricane season in 62 years. Watch Hurricanes 95 Season on Edge, Christmas Day at 1 Eastern.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
I bet you know what our Michelin travel trouble spot is, huh? Right across the Northeast. As a developing major winter storm over the next 12 to 24 hours, conditions will be going downhill quickly for New York City, Philadelphia, and even Boston later in the afternoon. Snows will really be piling up. We're talking about 6 to 12 inches easily within the next 48 to 60 hours over southern New England. So here's our wintry travel. Not only southern New England, but some of the heaviest snows will be draping back across central central Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and even into central Missouri. Now, while the storm system will be piling up the snows to the north, there's a potential for severe weather over the south. So southern Georgia, Florida, thunderstorms, possible large hail. We've had reports of lightning too. And between the severe weather and the heavy snows, you know, rainy travel. So please be careful. Current weather next.
Presenting the ultimate tire for your sport utility vehicle, the Michelin LTX. Michelin's technological advances in sidewall and tread design give it a smoother, quieter ride than you might ever expect from a 4x4 tire. Yet it's rugged enough, tough enough, Michelin enough to get you through anything. The LTX series from Michelin.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you, because so much is riding on your tires.
Where's that baby? I brought you a little supper. A little something. It was yummy.
Great, thanks.
A little goodie.
Good news for anyone who's ever eaten for two. The same medicine you keep handy for upset stomach and diarrhea also comforts indigestion.
I never knew that.
As Pepto-Bismol coats, it helps strengthen your stomach's protection against too much food and drink.
How's my baby?
Much better, thanks.
When you overdo it, take comfort in Pepto.
And now your local forecast. Accurate, convenient, and dependable. Only on the Weather Channel.